NBA Power Rankings, where all 30 teams rank. We'll look at these every Friday. Let's see what Bleacher report. Andy Bailey. That's the guy on Twitter, right? Who's like the big Nuggets guy? Big Jokic guy? Is that him? Who always posts? I think he was the kitchen sink originator. He's the Jokic guy? Yep, that is him. It is him. Okay, all right. So Andy Bailey. Andy, this is the guy 1,000%. I don't think he created the kitchen sink stat, but he's the one who was tweeting about it last year. That made it a thing. All right, let's see. We're all 30 teams ranked. We're starting hot. Number 30, the Utah Jazz, who are 1-7 to start the season with a -15 net rating. Yeah, this is about as bad as it gets. You know, this is what they needed to do, though. Honestly, like this, they needed to rip the Band-Aid off. They are masterful at tanking at the back half of the season, but their problem is they get to the trade deadline around 500, and then tanking just becomes a Herculean task by the end of the season. So just get out the gates terrible, and let's go. Utah got its first win of the season this week, but it's clearly committed to playing the young core the bulk of the minutes, and that's going to lead to a ton of blowout losses. Yeah. Absolutely. 1-7. And a lot of their young core, you know, Walker Kessler had a pretty good start to the season. Keontae George had a good game a couple nights ago, but he's off to a slow start. Cody Williams looks very much like a rookie. Yeah, there's growing things. Kyle Filipowski looks pretty fine, actually, to be honest with you. That looks like a pretty good pick for them. But, you know, they're struggling. Bryce Sensabaugh, I don't know. Taylor Hendricks obviously had that gruesome injury. The Washington Wizards at 29. You know, they're hey, look, I think they're pretty happy if you're a Wizards fan. Your young core looks good. Bilal Coulibaly looks good. We've talked about him ad nauseum. Alex Sarr looks good, actually. Carrington looks good. Like your rookie class looks really solid. And I think that you feel pretty good about that, actually. So 2-4. The Atlanta Hawks lost to them twice. Hilarious. In a row. The Trailblazers at 28. Really? I'd put the Trailblazers higher. I don't think they're the third worst team in the NBA. Well, let me see who's ahead of them. I don't think the Trailblazers are the third worst team in the NBA. What happened to Denny? He looks bad in Portland. He's in a shooting slump right now. I think other than that, I think Denny looks pretty good. But he's just not hitting shots currently. There probably won't be a ton of opportunities to praise the Portland Trailblazers this season. Yeah. Shaedon Sharpe is back, so that's good. But I'll say this. They've got some young players that look pretty solid. Like Donovan Clingan does look really good. He has the highest block percentage in the NBA. How about that? I did not know that. DeAndre Ayton may be playing well enough to turn himself into a trade asset after going for 21 points, 10 rebounds against the Spurs. He's averaging 15 points and 11 rebounds. Ooh, Pelicans. Well, what does a trade to the Pelicans look like there? Or what about that could be true, Javier. Last year was really the only time that Deni Avdija looked like a good shooter. Toronto Raptors at 2-7. Here at 27. Yeah, the Toronto Raptors are better than their record suggests. I think I'd agree with that. They played some tight games. They played the Nuggets close 2 times and 2 losses. Is Gafford better than Ayton? From a talent perspective, no. Yes, they've been without Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, Kelly Olynyk. I don't know how much Kelly Olynyk swings things, but yeah. They've been without Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley. They're a better team. And Grady Dick has been really good to start the season. So, 20 points, 2.5 threes a game for Grady Dick. And he's doing things other than shooting threes. Gafford a better fit for Luka, more mobile? Yeah. Don't fall for the Ayton trap. He only plays well to get a contract. Well, he's not in a contract year, is he? Yeah, Dick has been popping off. The Pelicans at 26. Whoa. My God. This feels harsh, but I mean. So Trey Murphy's coming back soon. We know that. Herb Jones will be out for a few more weeks. DeJounte Murray's out for probably another month. CJ McCollum's out for a few more weeks. Ingram's been playing well, and Zion played pretty good a couple nights. Like their loss a few nights ago to Oh, God, who the Cavs. They really played a pretty good basketball game, and I think you leave that feeling fine. But their problem is they're so hurt that they're going to have so many of those games where it's just like, yeah, we played well, but if we were healthy, we might have won that game. That's just kind of the story of the Pelicans franchise, damn near. All the absences have given Brandon Ingram a chance to juice his trade value, and by February, he may be able to generate enough interest to flip him for a starting caliber center. 24 points, 4.5 assists, 2.5 threes. Does Brandon Ingram for Ayton even make sense? Like, what is that? Do the Trailblazers even entertain that? Dick has been huge. Yeah, it's been pretty big. I don't think the Blazers even entertain that, to be honest with you. Maybe a 3-team trade of some sort. Yeah, I could see them wanting to trade Ayton for sure, but I don't think they would really want Ingram in return. What is the number one need for the Trailblazers? They kind of just need to let their young guys cook. I mean, Scoot hasn't been great to start the season. I mean, Scoot's kind of looking like a bust, damn near. Shaedon Sharpe just came back. Yeah, Rob Williams is on the Blazers. Chicago Bulls at number 25 with a negative 7.5 net rating. They were 18th in the last rankings. They started the season 3-2. They've rattled off 4 straight losses. Yeah, and they're looking terrible. I was a little tiny bit tricked by the 3-2 start. I won't lie to you. I didn't really think that they were great, but I was like, yeah, they might be a play-in team, but they look like shit. And who knows? That might be a play-in team in the East. The Pistons, look at my Pistons climbing up to number 24, huh? Progress, man. Progress. Next year, the goal, let's get in the high teens. And then the year after that, then we can start working. Let's get into the high teens next year. That's the goal. The Pistons have been, they're 3-6. Last year, they didn't get their third win. I forgot. I saw a stat. They didn't get their third win until late in the season. Until late in the season. Yeah, true. If you're high teens in the power ranking, you're in the playoffs in the East. Absolutely. But they're 3-6 with only a -2 net rating. Like they didn't get their third win until December. Wow. They've been, even in their losses, they've been close and been competitive. It's just, can Cade figure out how to play in the fourth quarter of basketball games? That's really it. But Jaden Ivey's been incredible to start the season. My Charlotte Hornets at 23. In this era of fast-paced offenses, volume three-point shooting, and heavy usage for star players, we may have gotten a little numb to gaudy stat lines, but LaMelo Ball is forcing us to take notice. Oh, I've been noticing. Believe you me. LaMelo is now averaging 28 points, 6 assists, nearly 5 rebounds, 4.5 threes a game. Woo! One of the most fun players in the NBA. Josh Green's struggling a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, we've been tuned in. We've been tuned into LaMelo Ball. I have forced you guys at gunpoint, basically, to be tuned into LaMelo Ball. The Brooklyn Nets at 22. They're 4-4. Okay, if we're just going pure power rankings perspective, I feel like they need to be higher. Like, there's some teams that I'm assuming they're going to be behind. Like, for example, the Heat. I think the Brooklyn Nets so far this season have straight up looked better than the Miami Heat. Full stop. If Brooklyn Nets really want to enter the Cooper Flag sweepstakes in earnest, they might need to unload some of their vets sooner than expected. Yeah. That's true. Brooklyn has a positive point differential through 8 games, and 31-year-old point guard Dennis Schroeder is second on the team in total individual plus-minus. What would a Dennis Schroeder, like, what is Dennis Schroeder getting in a trade? Wait. Okay. Again, we're doing power rankings. How have the Philadelphia 76ers not been here yet? I know it's Jamal Murray. I know that he probably factors in, or like what they had in the preseason as like a reference. The Bucks I could maybe get. But what's the Sixers? They're injured. The return of Paul George. They're 0-2 with him. You think a first round pick for Dennis Schroeder? I don't know. Maybe a shit first round pick. I think the Magic need to be on that phone immediately. Like let's get somebody who can do some stuff for us offensively before Powell comes back. Before we really tank our chances. Couple seconds. Tobias Harrison to the Mavs. Where is this rumor coming from? You? I've never heard that. The Atlanta Hawks here at number 21 with a -5 net rating. Look, I'm high on the Hawks. I had them finishing in the playoff picture, or the play-in picture. I had them as a lock to go over their over on wins. I still feel pretty solid about that. I think I'd have the Nets ahead of them, straight up. I really do. I think I'd have Brooklyn ahead of them. Brooklyn just looks like a little bit more of a competitive team. But hey, Ricochet, yeah, 33 points. Oh, wow, here are the Spurs at 20. Okay. They got the Spurs at 20. They're 4-5. You got to give them some props there. Who are their wins against, though? That's what I'm wondering. They beat the Rockets. They've beat the Jazz, I want to say. Last night they beat the Blazers. Have the Spurs won like an impressive game yet? I would feel better if the Spurs were 4-5, but like Wemby was really popping off to start the season. I would feel fine about this ranking, but I don't know. Oh, they did beat the Timberwolves. That's right. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'd have them a little bit lower, I think. They're also like super injured. Sixers at 19 at 1-6. You have to go lower than them. They got to be in the 20s, man. They're 1-6. They're 1-6. Embiid's not coming back until Tuesday. Maxi's out until December probably. If we're just the good nature, what's the point of a power rankings then? I guess it's you don't want it to be a standings thing. But the Sixers have looked like shit. Like it'd be one thing if the Sixers were just they're losing these games by 1 point, 2 points. They've been so competitive, but they just don't have enough in the end because they're just not. And then once Embiid and Paul George are back, you could just see how they're gonna blossom and spread their wings and fly. That's not what it looks like at all. They look like shit. Other than the Nets, who would you put above the 76ers? I'd put the Hawks above the 76ers. Yeah, now that I'm looking at them. I'm not sure. But they're 1-6. I'd put my Charlotte Hornets over them. I'd put my Detroit Pistons over them. Once we see them beat back and we see it look good, then we can go from there. Miami Heat 3-4 at 18. They've looked so uninspiring this year. That's just that's what I can say. They're uninspiring. The Atlanta Hawk Tuas. Bravo. Vibes are off with the Sixers. Yeah. Very off. Heat at 3-4. Best thing for them, Tyler Hero has been fantastic to start the season. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo have logged 165 minutes together, and they are -6.5 in those possessions. Yeesh. They'll have a get-right game tonight. All right. DQ saying that. The Miami Heat have a get-right game tonight. Let's see who they're playing. I can only guess. Don't tell me they're playing the fucking Nuggets. The Heat are playing the Nuggets tonight. Oh my God! Yeah, you guys are 5-3, man. Save it for the judge. Save it. That's hilarious. Does that mean Tyler Hero should go back to being a heat check scorer off the bench? I don't think you can do that. He's been your best player. Is it time to take Nikola Jovic out of the token starter role? Yes. Unfortunately. Yes. Orlando Magic at 17. Oh, they got to be way lower than this. They have to be way lower. They got to be way lower than this, dude. Again, if this is power rankings, we're not looking at the standings. They got to be. I would actually have the Magic currently as maybe a bottom 6 team, maybe even worse. I just their offense has been so bad, so bad since Paolo has gone out, and really over the course of the whole season. But the Orlando Magic. Magic saw before Paolo went out. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But Paolo's going to be out until like maybe January, December at the best. If they just stay somewhat, which is why I think they should maybe look to make a move sooner rather than later, just like a Dennis Schroeder move, just to make themselves a little bit more competitive, just so you can win enough games so that when Paolo comes back, you're in a position to, make a playoff push. 26% from 3 for Wagner. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. This is a golden opportunity for Franz to make an all-star game, something I thought could happen this year. The Clippers at 16, yeah, this feels about right for the Clippers. They feel like a middle-of-the-pack team, and in the NBA, that's a good thing. Like, there's a lot of great teams, good teams, so being, like, middle of the road is fine. They're competitive. They play good defense. Zubats has been great. Solid anchor Vitsa Zubats and several switchable forwards and wings like Derrick Jones Jr., Terrence Mann, Amir Coffey, Nicholas Batum. They're 5th in points allowed per 100 possessions. Wait, why are the Bucks 15, bro? Like, I'm sorry. There's no way the Bucks should be ahead of the Clippers. Ahead of the Magic, fine. The Heat, okay. I want to say real quickly about the 76ers. You wouldn't fucking believe this. And I don't believe it. In fact, I don't even know how they have it. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have the Philadelphia 76ers pick this upcoming season. Now, granted, it is top 6 protected. But they have it. How? Does anybody know how? Is that from the Horford salary dump? That's what I'm thinking in my brain. How on earth did they get that pick? I really kind of think it's from the Al Horford salary dump. Either that or it was involved in some other trade. Let's look at the Al Horford, if it's Al Horford. Yep, it's the Al Horford salary dump. December 8th, 2020. Traded by the Philadelphia 76ers with Theo Maledon, Vasily Micic. Oh, Micic was in that trade. Okay. And a 2025 first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Terrence Ferguson, Danny Green, and Vincent Poirier. The 2025 first-round pick is top 6 protected. I mean, that's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. The man on the screen. Fuck you, Paul George. Honestly, dude, you ruined the NBA. You ruined it. Like that trade, and now you're on the Sixers and they're shit, and then they're gonna get the 7th overall pick in this draft. Totally fucking spoiler of the show, ass biased. I did not know that article was just gonna flat out spoil the show like that. That's my bad. Like that was crazy that they straight up spoiled it like that in the article. The Milwaukee Bucks at 15. Okay, let's see. The Milwaukee Bucks were in desperate need of a get-right win, and the Utah Jazz obliged on Thursday. There's no points for beating the Utah Jazz at all. None to speak of. So, okay, whatever. With the worst team in the league at Pfizer form, Milwaukee scored 123 points, the highest total since the opening night win. Okay. Damian Lillard, 34, and Giannis, 31. Each went for 30-plus. They've done that multiple times this season in losses. And perhaps most interesting of all, second-year wing Andre Jackson Jr. entered the starting 5 and provided a defensive boost that had to intrigue head coach Doc Rivers. Yeah, I said yesterday that could be interesting. There are still plenty of concerns, especially if Giannis is hampered by an abductor strain for much longer, but Thursday was a decent reminder of how explosive Milwaukee's top 2 can be. I was about to say, albeit against a terrible opponent. Yes, I don't really think you can take anything away from games against the Jazz. They're awful. They're awful. I'm just so worried. I said this in my video yesterday, man. They look old and their defense is terrible. Like, they have all of the signs of a terrible old team. But, honestly, Andre Jackson, the starting five, is interesting. I will say that. The Lakers are at 14, 4-4. Yeah, this feels about right. They have a -4 net rating. The good vibes that attended the Los Angeles Lakers 3-0 start have faded a bit. Yeah. We're about, I don't know, 2 more losses before we start fire JJ Redick chance. No, that's not true. I think they love JJ Redick. I really do. That's what I can gather from Lakers fans, from Lakers Nation. AD does have plantar fascia. It doesn't sound like he's going to miss too much time, if any time, with it. But, yeah, that's not a fun one. Their depth looks bad. I'd have them a little bit lower than this, actually. I'd actually, straight up, I'd have the Clippers ahead of the Lakers right now. Especially with the AD injury looming. The Pacers here at 13. This feels like a pretty fair spot for Indiana. A couple of really nice wins against the Mavs, against the Celtics. So, they're figuring some stuff out. Tyrese Halliburton's dealing with a back injury. What's her name? Caitlin Miller? Is that her name? I follow her on Twitter. She's a really good follow. I think that's her name. I could be wrong, though. Caitlin Cooper. She does Indiana Pacers stuff. She's been saying for a while that it looks like Tyrese Halliburton has been dealing with a back injury. And it does kind of make sense. He looks slower than usual. New York Knicks at number 12. Yeah, this is fair. This is a fair spot. They're better than the record showed. Their 3-4 record indicates. They're going through some stuff. We talked about them yesterday. Grizzlies at 11, 5-4, outside the top 10. They're such a wish-wash team, right? But yeah, they're 5-4. They've had some really impressive performances, and they're still just kind of dealing with the absence of so many guys. That the fact that they're above 500 is pretty impressive. Back injury, he really is a modern Steve Nash. Yeah, he really is. Houston Rockets here at 10. Let's see who's ahead of them, because I would maybe have them a little bit higher than 10. Plus 7.5 net rating. They are top 5 in net rating. I said yesterday they're one of only 4 teams top 10 in offensive and defensive rating. Oh, not only that, they're top 7 in both. How about that? Top 7 in both. They've looked really good to start the season. Fred VanVleet was really good on Wednesday night. Yep, really good. I really like this team. Amin Thompson's looked really good in his minutes. Shane Goon has been so disappointing. Rockets are good, but they're not on TV, so they'll get screwed on rankings. I really do think, though, they beat the Mavs. I mean, they beat the Mavs' ass. The Mavs did almost come back, but outside of that, who have their wins been against? You have the Grizzlies, second game of the season, Spurs, Knicks, Spurs. All right, that's really not bad. They kind of shitted on the Knicks, by the way, in embarrassing fashion. Then Ime Udoka after the game was like, "Yo, we knew we could drive on Cat all day. We knew that we could drive on him." Sacramento Kings at number 9. Yeah, this is fair as well. DeMar's looked really good to start the season for them. And in the fourth quarter, they really turn it on. Now, their wins, if we're going to do this for every team, Trailblazers, Jazz, Hawks, Heat, Raptors. But they're taking care of business. They're looking good. Hey, side bias, will you marry me? Sure. I'm easy like that. But yeah, those three, Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and DeMar DeRozan, are playing pretty well alongside one another. We mentioned Sabonis a couple nights ago. First player in NBA history to have a triple-double without missing a shot and without turning the ball over. So as efficient as it gets. Denver Nuggets here at number 8. The Denver Nuggets got off to an 0-2 shaky start. They're 5-1 since then. They're starting to figure things out, and then a nice win against the Oklahoma City Thunder without Jamal Murray, without Aaron Gordon. And maybe they're back. Uh-oh. Here we go. Jokic, he surged into first place in Basketball Reference MVP tracker. Here we go. We did not think it was possible, but here it comes, folks. To be fair, Eddie Bailey is a massive, massive Jokic guy. Jokic is number 1. Sabonis is number 2. Tatum, Shea, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Devin Booker, J-Dub? Really? Anthony Davis, Buddy Hield. J-Dub? It's a little surprising. Sabonis is having an underrated season, yes, but this is all well, of course Luke is not on here. He hasn't been good. MVP good. I mean, if Jokic averages 28, 13 and a half, and 11, it's going to be pretty hard to not give it to him. Wait, was Buddy Hield on there? Oh, yeah, Buddy Hield. Yeah, this is why you don't look at early season MVP trackers. Remember there was an early season Defensive Player of the Year tracker one year that had Jamal Murray top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year. Do you guys remember that? Minnesota Timberwolves at number 7. Anthony Edwards having a great start to the season. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle both play off each other incredibly well. Julius Randle has played really well to start this season. Edwards is averaging 5 threes made per game. He's on pace to break Stephen Curry's all-time record of 402 threes in a single season. I doubt that will happen, but that would be actually kind of nuts. The Mavs here are top 6. They've dropped a spot. I think that's fair. They're on pace for 50 wins. And the rest of the league should maybe be a little bit worried about this being the worst version of this team. That's actually a fairly good point. They've jumped out to the start, which includes a road win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Despite Luka Doncic being nowhere near hitting his stride through 8 games, his averages for points, 28.5, rebounds, 8, and assists, 8, are down from last season, and he's shooting just 45% on twos and 32% from deep. All those marks are likely to creep up over the course of the season, and Dallas will be even tougher to beat because of it. All right. Power ranking should be the West top 15, East bottom 15. The Suns at number 5. They've been great to start this season. Absolutely think they've been a top 5 team. Golden State Warriors at number 4. Yeah, at a certain point, you just can't ignore them. They're 7-1 to start the season. Plus 15.5 net rating. So they're annihilating teams. Pretty difficult to ignore that. So who's in the top 3 then? So we have Celtics, Thunder. Who's the other team? Oh, Cavs. Duh. Cavs here at number 3, 9-0, plus 12 net rating. I think the Cavs should be ahead of the Celtics. If we're just doing early season power rankings, toss out some of our preconceived notions and let's just go based off of what we've seen. I think the Cavs should be ahead of the Celtics, personally. But a perfect 9-0 start to the season. The Cavs still don't feel like a top-tier title contender, but we may not be able to say that much longer. Cleveland is first in points per 100 possessions and 9th in points allowed per 100 possessions. The core 4, Donovan Mitchell, nearly 24 points a game. Darius Garland, nearly 20. Evan Mobley, 17. Jared Allen, 15. All averaging at least 15 points per game. And the bench is getting real contributions from Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome. Yeah, Ty Jerome's been a revelation. And Sam Merrill. All right. I think part of the reason why we say they don't feel like real title contenders is because it's the Cavs. Like, we've seen this team. We've seen this team do that. But, yeah. Oklahoma City Thunder at number 2 and the Boston Celtics at number 1. Any, And we got to throw in a Jokic stat there at the end. All right, I respect it. I really do respect it. Any qualms there? Cavs vibes feel way different, better to me. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have to remember they're still a young team. Darius Garland's still young. Mobley's still young. Jared Allen's still relatively young. Even Donovan Mitchell's not like past the prime of his career. So, you know, they're probably just getting better. Cavs should be 1, Celtics 2 or 3. I think Cavs should probably be higher than the Celtics. I personally have the Thunder at 1, even though they did just lose. Will Dallas ever be at number 1 this season? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, these are the top 3 teams to start the season. Absolutely.